Hello. So, like we discussed when we went over level one, the key press controls are part of our conditional statements. They are Booleans, they are true and false. So, right now, when we run this code, we're drawing the background, the text align, text size. If I click run, this is a condition, so it will only give me true or false. Right now, I'm not pressing my key down, but as soon as I press the spacebar down, you'll see this turn to true. Okay, so this allows us to use the keyboard to as our conditionals with our controls. So let me go ahead and go. I'm going to go through levels 2, 3, and 4, and then you'll do level 5, and then the assessment level 6 on your own. So I like just to hit run and see what the status of the code is. So I have a giraffe. And let's read the directions. This program uses the key down block to detect whether a specific key is being pressed down. So do this. Run the code and try pressing the P and H keys. Okay. So P and H. So it started with a giraffe, and then when I press P, I get a pig, and H turns it into a hippo. Look inside the if statement to see how the code works. Add a block to the third if statement to change the animation to a different animal. So I recommend you pay careful attention to this because it comes up in later levels that you'll be doing independently. So we have our sprite, and the sprite animation is set to a giraffe, and then we run our code. So the draw loop continually runs, and when I press H, it turns into a hippo. So sprite set animation hippo. When I press P, so I'm pressing P right now, it turns the sprite animation to a pig. Now it stays a pig until other code overrides it. So now I press H and I'm back to hippo. So it wants us to change when the R is pressed. So I need to set an animation to be something different. So I have sprite.set animation, and I think P probably goes, or R probably goes with rabbits. Okay. Let me reset and run my code, and now I can turn it into a rabbit. So I have hippo, pig, rabbit. Right. So you should have completed that along with me, and let's go on to level 3 now. So setting an animation is just like an instantaneous thing. Sometimes we'll hold down the key and it'll happen continuously, and you'll see that again in a minute. All right, so let's hit run, see what happens. I have a ladybug. You can change your sprite's position based on key presses in the same way you change its animation. Add an if statement inside your draw loop. Check whether the right arrow key has been pressed down. Add code inside the conditional to move the sprite to the right uh, if the arrow is down. So when we're moving left and right, so if I move to the right, you see I'm changing the X value. So I'm going to need the counter pattern with the X value. So let's use our code. Our code comments, they say draw background, background white. Update values. If the right arrow key is pressed, move the sprite right on the screen. So I have an if. So ifs are part of our control statements. So that's where I'm going to grab an if and put it right under here in the comments. Now I want to check if the right arrow key is pressed. So I'm going to go to world and grab key down. Conveniently, they have it from the drop down. You could just pick right. So this will, whatever's inside of here will only run when the right is pressed. Well, I want to change the ladybug's X value. So I go to sprites, grab sprite.x. And if I check, I see that I'm going up. I'm counting up. So I'm going to want the plus for my counter pattern. And then I take the previous sprite X and I will add to it. So let's say I'll just add 1 pixel each time. Then I click reset and run, and I get mad because it doesn't work. And if I come over here and I look, it says there is no sprite that's been declared. That's because the name is bug. So I need to go down and change this to bug. Make sure you change everything to bug. So make sure you use those yellow triangles and the red squares to help you. So reset, run. It doesn't move. I press the right arrow key. Okay, and it will only count if I have the right arrow key down, because that's the only time the condition is true. All right. So make sure you have that done, and let's go to level 4. Let me click run. All right, we have gears that are running instantaneous. So gears with conditionals. Let's make the gears spin only when the space bar is being held down. So maybe pause for the video for a minute and try on your own, and then you can restart it. I'll go ahead and do it. So the first step is to add an if statement. So I'm going to put my if statement right after I draw my background. Okay. And then I want to check if a key is being pressed down. So key down, particularly this space bar. So space. And then that's when I want my code to rotate, or my gears to rotate. And that code's already been written. I just need to relocate it. So I'm going to drag it up there. Let's hit reset and run. Gears aren't moving. I don't know what just happened. Run. I press the space bar, and now the gears move. And again, since the code's inside the if statement, it will only work if this is true. So it only works if I'm holding the space bar down. Okay, so level 5 has several practices for you to complete. The turtle will actually help you a lot for the assessment level. So you don't have to complete all those practices. Pick one and then move on to the assessment. Okay. And you see all my completed code there. All right. Please let me know in the Help Padlet if you need any assistance. Thank you.